Ready to run your first game? Here's everything you need to know. The Dungeon Master, or DM, narrates what happens and referees the game during play. If Dungeons & Dragons was a film, the players would be the main characters and the DM is everyone else. Yes, even the mouse the druid speaks to. You don't have to be an actor or author to be an amazing DM, so long as everyone is having fun, you included. You're not in competition with your players. Your end game isn't to kill them. Well, most of the time. You're actually working together to have a great time and create a fun, memorable story. Don't be intimidated by rules. They're just meant to be a guide. You are in charge. Not sure what the rule is for when your rogue wants to grapple down from the ceiling to steal priceless art? You can check the books, or just make a judgment call. Decide how you want the story to go. Remember, the most important rule is that you have fun. As a DM runs the adventure, it's useful for you to have some idea of what's going to happen before the game, although you can just improv everything if you want. I bow down to your talent. Most DMs will spend time reading through their chosen adventure, sussing out the plot, map, and maybe coming up with a voice for a goblin. Others write their own adventures, inspired by favourite movies or books, and some just draw from the depths of their imagination and unleash the horrors on their poor, unsuspecting players. The Dungeon Master's Guide has tons of resources to help you bring this to life through creating good villains to planning out a dungeon and all the rules that come with it. It's a good idea to talk to your players first, see what kind of adventure they want. Lots of fights, political intrigue, pirate fantasy. It's also a chance to see what character they're playing, so you can weave specific challenges for them into the story. As the DM, preparation gives you a chance to brush up on the rules. So when the bard asks if they can convince the bugbear to hand over the hefty sack of gold, you can tell them to make a persuasion check. But you and the dice make the final call. The bard is not as hot as they think they are. After all that fun plotting and scheming, you can invite the players to sit down, hand out the snacks, and start playing. But remember, just because the druid baked you cupcakes does not mean they'll get off easy when the dragon wakes up angry. In fact, you might want to set up a DM screen to make sure players can't see what's coming, as well as have the rules you need right in front of you. Then the cycle of play is just 3 easy steps: the setup, the decision, and the result. Step 1, the setup. The DM narrates the story. You tell players where they are and what's around them. Step 2, the decision. Players then decide what they want to do. Step 3, the result. You then describe the results of their actions. This can be after a roll of the dice to see if they succeed or fail. Alternatively, you can cut straight to the details without referring to the dice. If the barbarian charges into a room to greet a beholder, they don't need to make a stealth check. It saw them, and you can let the player know just how screwed they are. Or with a bull with eyes on stalks doesn't look like something you want to face, pick up the monster manual for more formidable foes to populate your game. You can't predict what your players will do, so improvise, make it up on the spot. Go with something funny or interesting, or that makes a good story to tell over ales at a tavern later on. So that's all it takes to be a dungeon master. A bit of preparation and you'll be running your very own adventure in no time.